Hi guys, welcome to another tutorial that goes with our art kits. So chances are if you're watching this, you purchased one of our art kits. So our latest art kit is a Mexican tin relief. This is an art form that you find in Mexico a lot. Here's a couple examples of some tin reliefs that we have made at the studio. So they can be done a variety of ways. They're really fun to make and they're really simple. So when you get the kit, what's gonna be in it is a bunch of stuff. You're gonna have a huge paper that has written directions. You're gonna have a tin, a piece of felt, a pipe cleaner. What else do we have in here? Beads, love beads. Wire. A stick, and 2 permanent markers. So if you've ever purchased one of our kits before, you know that they all come in this handy dandy burlap bag. Hold on to this because a lot of our tutorials use these, like our cat pillow that we're coming out with very soon and our bunny pillow. And this is the exact material we use, so save these because you can use them again in the future for more projects that you make through us. The directions that are in the kit give you step-by-step just in case you want to read and follow along that way, but you don't need to use these. These are just available to you so you can hold on to them just in case you ever want to make one again. I'm going to show you everything that you need to do step-by-step. So the first thing is when you're looking at this tin, you're going to see that 2 sides are solid. You have 3 holes on one side, 2 holes on the other. The part that has the 2 holes at the top, that's the top. The part that has the 3 holes, that's the bottom. The reason we incorporated the piece of felt into this project is because usually when you're working with the tin and you're tooling it, which means you're making, you're pressing on it with the stick to form the design. Usually when you're tooling this, it's easier to, and you get a more effective result when you're on something soft and cushy. So even if this isn't cushy enough, you can lay your bag underneath it and the felt, so that should be fine. One thing is, I'd plan out your simple design before you put it onto here, just as a little rough draft so you know what you're gonna do. I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna do a tree. I like to draw trees. So I'm just gonna take a piece of scrap paper and sketch out my idea with the tree. The scratch paper does not come in with the kit. It's just something I'm assuming you guys all have. And you're going to use a pencil. I'm grabbing a colored pencil, but so I'm just going to pretend I want to make a big tree. And you can make whatever you want. Like I said, the last one I did a while ago was a sun. Suns are super easy to make and they're really, they're fun to make. Also, one thing I did want to point out, you can make the part that has the fold in the front, so it looks like a little border, or if you don't want the border, you can keep that part on the back. This part has the folds on the back. So that's totally up to you. It's optional. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's just more of your preference. So let's pretend I'm adding a quick little tree here. And I'm just gonna lay it in really roughly. Is this going to be too big for this project? I don't know. Do I want to add some background land? Maybe. Do I want to add a sun? No, I don't like that. Okay, I'm going to leave it like this and see what we get. So we're just going to go for it. So go in, and you could draw it out with a Sharpie on here, or your permanent marker, I should say. All I'm doing is pressing in. So I don't know if you could see this good enough. Let me see if I can get it a little bit closer. I'm gonna move closer. Let's see if this will work better. What I'm doing is I'm just pushing down gently. You don't want to poke a hole in your tin. And if it doesn't come out exactly the way your other one came out, it's not a huge deal. Don't worry about it. So do I have 1 trunk here, 2 trunks here? Or not trunks. Branches. Maybe I can make a winter tree. I love the snow. So I'm just gonna go in and just roughly, actually what this is called, if I'm just scribbling like this in an area, it's called scumbling. That's actually a really cool technique to use when you're making leaves, because you don't want to sit there and draw every single leaf, but it gives it a nice texture. So I'm just more or less scribbling or scumbling to make the trees. Then I could always go in and define a couple of these if I wanted to. Now the cool thing about this tin is you can make it indented. See, I'm pushing down. I'm making a little indent where you feel it feel a little like a river in there. Another thing you could do is you can raise it from the back, and that's a relief. So if I flip this over, let's say I want this part of the trunk of the tree to stand up. I'm gonna flip my design over, and I can use the flat side of my stick as well. And I'm pushing it down on it. So what I'm doing is I'm pressing on this back side and making it poof out a little bit on the front. I'll do some of the branches too. And keep checking it and make sure it's the way you like it. You want to try not to get it too wrinkled as you go. And then I'm going to go back in on this side and I'll press this down. And I'm really forming it the way I want to. So I'm going to add a little bit of marks on the ground just so it looks a little different from the sky. So I like to add patterns to mine as well. And I'm going to leave this like this. So I'm going to go in and I'll do something really simple. Like I'll make a circle and a dash, or circle, dash, circle, dash, circle. And I might do the same thing on the sides, or maybe on the sides I'll do squigglies. And I'll do that on this side. Sorry folks, I'm left-handed, so it's hard for me to switch hands to show you the tutorial. And I could keep working on this a little bit more if I want to define more of these textures, but for this tutorial, I'll probably leave it the way it is. Okay. Now, our kit, it comes with 2 permanent markers, like I said, but if you have any Sharpies or permanent markers, go ahead and use them. You can color them in as much as you want. Like I said, with this one, I used a lot of different colors on it, but you don't really have to, because the metal itself usually is enough. But I'm gonna go in and maybe I will color in the sky blue, and I'll leave the tree plain. And I might just want to leave it like lines instead of coloring it fully in. And you can look at which markers that came in your kit to decide what your design is going to be. I probably should have thought of that before I did a tree, but that's okay. We're going to make it work. So all the markers do is just give it a little bit of an accent of color. Pretending some of the sky is peeking out through there. So you can even go in and define it more if you wanted to. And if you make a mistake with the marker and you don't really like it, get a little rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip, and that will take it right off. All right, let me go around the edge now. Add a little shadow under here. Okay. So I'm gonna go in with some designs. It's hard to see on the camera, but you can keep doing this till you get the design however you want. All right, so now what we're gonna do is you have a pipe cleaner and you have a wire. So the wire is to hang it up on the top. You're welcome to bead the wire. You don't have to. I like to have the beads dangling below with the pipe cleaner. If you have any yarn, you could braid a cool little handle for the top. That would actually look really nice too, because it gives it a different texture than the metal. And I'm all about texture. So I might go ahead and do that anyway, just to see what it looks like with the yarn. So I push the wire through the front, you see, and I push it up like a U. So I'm just going in and pushing it up. And then all you have to do, I'm gonna turn it sideways because I'm lefty, is just give it a little bit of a twist. And you're gonna bring the wire around like a loop, and you're gonna push it in through the other side. So now I'm gonna lift you up a little bit higher so you could see. It's like going on an elevator. Move this over. Okay, so now I pushed it through this side, like the last side, and I'm gonna push the tail up, and I am gonna twist it. You may not want your wire to be this long, with this big of a loop. You know, that's pretty big. You don't have to do it that way. You could change it if you want. And now for the bottom, there are 3 holes. So we're gonna make this into thirds. So all we're gonna kind of do is fold it. I mean, you're welcome to measure it. Math is not my very strong point, but I just eyeball it because it's not a huge deal. So then once you do this, another thing that you are gonna need, and they're not included in your kit, is just a pair of scissors, and you're gonna nip this into 3 pieces. So 1, and come on, 2. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is each one is gonna go into one of these holes. And I'm gonna bring a little bit down to the back and give it a twist. And I'm gonna do the next one. Stick it in, bring it a little bit further down, and give it a twist. This is much easier to twist than the top one because it's a thinner wire. And the last one, push it in, bring it down. And again, if you prefer to, you can go ahead and use yarn too. Actually, you know what I'm deciding to do as I'm having this tutorial? I'm gonna put in some yarn for you guys. So if you wanna do the braid for the top instead of using the wire, it'll be optional and you'll have that just as another option, just in case. All right, so you take your beads out. I'll show you one and then I will meet you back here when we're done. Plan them out, figure out where you want them to go. You know how many you have. But when you do bead it, what I want you to make sure that you do is don't go all the way to the end, because we need to make sure we wrap this around the last bead we put on. So let's put a yellow guy there, orange, brown, and we'll keep going. All right, so I'm going to show you on one of them, and then I will meet you back here when we're done. So bead. And I'm not going to finish it off till I'm done putting them all on, because I want to see if I like the order of the beads before I do it, before I finish it. Now, I've done it where the middle strand has more beads than these two, so they're shorter, and then this drops down a little bit further. Like it's your preference completely how you want to do it. Let's do clear. And I think that's it. Okay, I'm not going to use those. All right, so what I'm going to do is fold this up when you're done and wrap it around, twist it in there. And make sure that's to the back. So again, you fold it up around the last bead that you have, the first bead at the end. And then I'm just going to hold on to the bead. Can you see okay? And twist it around. You don't have to twist it around a gazillion times, just enough to hold it in place. And I'm going to twist that part to the back. And then the last one, I'll show you one more time. You fold it up around that first bead. And then I'm twisting this around there in between them. Okay, so here's your tin relief, and I'm going to braid another handle, and I'll show you that way too, and then you can make your decision as to which way you want to finish it off. Like I said, I'm going to put in some yarn, so if you decide to use this as the top instead of the wire, you can. You can leave it as a single strand. You can twist it and put it through. I'm going to braid it. Now, it is a little thick to push through, so I will include thin yarn in your kit. So what I just did is I took, actually, you know what? You should take your stick that came with the kit and just push this yarn through. Once you get it in, it's not as bad. All right, so I left it in the back. And what I'm going to do is give this a little knot to hold it in place. You just need one overhand knot. And I'm going to braid mine, I think. So if you've never braided before, this is not really going to be a tutorial for braiding, but I'll show you really quickly. And if you have, great, go for it. So you have 3 strands. You're always crossing over the left and then the right over the middle. So I'm going to bring the left over the middle. Now I'm going to bring the right over into the middle. Now I'm going to take the left strand and put it into, into the middle. And then you're going to take the right strand and put it into the middle. And you want to make this a little tighter than what I'm doing, but I'm just showing you. Left into the middle, and you're going to keep going. Okay, so I reached the end. I'm not going to knot it yet because I want the knot to be on the back. So again, I'm going to lay it on here, and I am going to poke the yarn through. 1, 2, and 3. And figure out how big I want this. It's upside down now. And I'm going to tie this in a knot. So make sure it's tight, your knot, and then you can trim it. I don't trim it too close just in case it comes loose, but it should be fine. I like this much better than the wire. So what's going to happen is you can hang it up on your wall and admire your beautiful Mexican-inspired tin relief. Thank you guys so much for watching. And stay tuned for more. Please like, subscribe, share, and show us your work. We love to see what you make. Happy making!